for that we have been preserved and protected by the Almighty, and we have the opportunity and privilege to be amongst the living and the healthy today as it counts down the month of December into the year 2022. Muyiwa Afolabi is my name for those who are joining us for the first time, and it's indeed a pleasure to have you on board tonight. We shall be going through some very critical itemized concepts about selling. I call it itemized concepts because I looked at the future, that is next year, 2022. I looked at the complexity of the trends and all that, and I asked myself how and what method would be the best to apply in being able to deliver on this very critical information tonight, such that everyone that is on this platform will be able to take away a substantial quality of information from what I'm going to be sharing that is powerful and sufficient enough to bring about the transformation you desire. So my first inclination was to come by way of slides, but I changed my mind because at the end of the day, slides will most likely distract you from words. Slides will most likely distract you from words. I changed my mind because words is what I want us to take on tonight. Words will powerfully change you because for me, it's about a reprogramming and a resetting of your mindset towards the power in and for sales. It's not just about the knowledge. A lot of people have basic, native, local, general knowledge of what sales is about. Some have the academic and the school knowledge of what sales is about. Some have the experiential revelation of what sales is all about. But it is not just in the head knowledge that I want to plug in tonight. I want to bring about a form of reset of mindset when it comes to sales, because many of us truly feel very familiar with the concept of sales and how it should work. But in reality, it's not been able to deliver to us our expectations as a practicing salesperson or will be salesperson. So I would rather we engage by the power of words tonight than by the display of slides. Yeah, and that's what I believe. Okay. Please listen to this as I share with you, because this is very critical. We've talked about this all week long, talking about the need for us to have an understanding of sales. And it's against which backdrop, let me share it. 2022, by the reason of the things that we can easily see, foresee, and interpret right now, can be a bit challenging economically and financially, so to speak, because of some decisions that the government has to make, and because of some circumstances we have found ourselves in as a nation. Some critical factors may or could are most likely going to make things a little bit challenging for the masses, the everyday Nigerian. First is the implication of foreign exchange. We're talking about dollars right now, because the exchange rate right now is a little bit very scary. Having the dollar at 400 and something and all that stuff, it's a little bit scary compared to where we're coming from. And because we are an import-dependent nation, every influence that the dollar has got a lot around the world and against the naira will hit us directly, because we depend more on important things, even critical things, as well as basic things that we should be manufacturing. So the dollar rate would affect us very strongly. Second is the fact that the governments are considering the removal of the cushioning they have been doing for the cost of petrol that has been imported for us to use, both in our homes to power generators and to drive our cars around. The cost of it is gone up because of the exchange rate. It's gone up, and right now the government does not have the money to keep doing this cushioning, so it's going to pass on to the consumers of petrol, either for your generator, a business generator at the house, or as someone that will commute, move from place to place, or even in your own personal car. So if we have petrol at 300 and something, boy, oh boy, it's going to affect the price of almost everything. And as we speak, inflation is still at double digits of about 18%. That is the rate at which cost of goods and services are escalating. And that is for the general analysis of inflation. By the time the petrol price jumps to as high as 300 and something, I worry what the inflation rate is going to be. I was in the supermarket earlier on this evening, and the cost of some things were really, really scary. I had to buy basic needs like bread, like jam, like custard and all that. And the prices of these things were really, really scary. So you begin to wonder, something you bought for 300, 400 a couple of days ago has doubled in price. We're talking about a bag of beans going for as high as tens of thousands. And so it has become worrisome. We're already beginning to see the signs of what 2022 will hold. Now, this particular conversation we're having tonight is not for the typical expert salesman that wants to improve on his ability to sell more or hit his target. No, that's not the design of this communication. It is not for that specialist in marketing or in sales that wants to sell more of his goods and services. No, this particular teaching is for individuals, you and I, that are either in paid employment or in self-employment, but in order to increase our avenues to financial access, in order to increase the money we can make next year, we need to begin to sell something. We need to begin to sell something. So whether you're in paid employment or self-employment, next year may be a year you may have to, without a choice, involve yourself in selling something and selling it correctly and appropriately so that you can make more money than whatever your salary is or even your regular returns on sales from the business that you run. Because by the time school fees shows up and rent shows up and all these things show up and your basic needs are there, what you are currently drawing in as income into your home may not be sufficient to cover the cost of those same things by next year. And that is what this is for. So the essence of this meeting tonight is to share with you the realistic fundamentals. Now, pay attention. I said realistic fundamentals of how to really sell, because there are a lot of theories and ideologies and concepts and suggestions and even policies, as it were, standard principles of sales that cannot be adopted or adapted to our environment based on our peculiarities. And they remain at best head knowledge, but not a realistic engagement of a sales adventure that would deliver for you that payment that you, of course, want from the start, from that potential buyer. So I have actually broken this down into applicable, realistic principles of engaging the market space and the marketplace and potential buyers, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to easily practice this and get your answers. Also, I'm going to be breaking down some mentalities and ideologies about what sales is about and how sales happen, so that you can take on the new knowledge and the new normal as far as sales is concerned. So please pay attention. I say it again, pay attention. I say it a third time, pay attention. I'm going to be upsetting some of your ideologies that you hold very dear and you've held for a long time by some of these things I'm going to share in here. So you need to balance this truth and move with the one that is obviously the superior one. So calm down, all right? Just calm down and listen. These are tested and proven, have been applied, and they have worked in the same environment. So I believe if it's worked for me and some of my people, it will definitely work for you as well. Okay, listen to this. The purpose of schooling, if you're educated, the purpose of schooling is to feed the educated. That is the school, to feed the educated and qualified into a social economic working system of a nation. So there is an existing system, a framework with which a nation like Nigeria does exist. We have the private sector, we have the public sector, we have a government in place, we have a legal system in place, we have the political system in place. So there is a framework within which we all function. The purpose of schooling is to ensure that the mindset of the school has been set and programmed to feed into this framework. Private sector, public sector, economic, social, cultural, political integration of a nation that defines us. So we're to go to school and be fed into this particular system so that we can practice our skills, we can practice our arts, the things that we have learned, and get rewarded adequately for it. So we're supposed to go to school, learn stuff, and make ourselves, after we are qualified, available within the system to build, to add value, to work, and be adequately rewarded. Why do we need that adequate reward? Because as humans, we have bills to pay and we have dreams to fund. So you need to graduate, get a job, get engaged in the private sector, in the public sector, running a business within a system, within a structure, a framework that sustains or defines the nation Nigeria, and pull and draw on the reward for the skill, the art, the skill, whatever it is that you do. Basically, that is what it ought to be. You're supposed to be adequately rewarded by an efficient framework of nationhood. This, unfortunately, is not working in Nigeria. This is not working in Nigeria because our social economic system is currently fractured. Nigeria, as it's running today, is not a nation that appears to be progressing, is a nation that is, as it is today, recovering. There's a difference between a progressive nation and a recovering nation. And of course, from the communication that comes from leadership, especially our political leadership class, you will realize that most of the time when they're talking to us, it's about fixing what is wrong, correcting what is not correct, addressing issues and challenging, and hardly would you hear them talking about progressing. So Nigeria today is in a situation or in an era of repair, not a season of progress and advancement. You have a car. Thank God you have a car. But that car, if it's faulty, has to be fixed and amended first before it can move. So Nigeria is a car that is existing and can still run, but it's in the garage going through repairs. Now, the reaction or response of the people in the vehicle to a broken down vehicle will be different from the reaction and attitude of those in a car that is moving. So today we are in a car that is being fixed and made ready for a journey. So it is a broken socioeconomic system. So the schooling feeder system that is supposed to supply skilled, educated, and qualified people to run Nigeria can't find the right and appropriate place to fit in and profit because the system is not functioning effectively, if it is at all. I'm still talking about sales, don't worry. Now, the general wages and salary rates are way below the cost and pricing structure of basic and essential commodities. The reason why you need to sell. See, the salaries you're earning, the wages you are earning, the income you're earning cannot, I'm talking about general population in Nigeria, not everybody, the majority. What they're earning cannot pay for essential and basic needs. I'm not talking about luxurious things. I'm talking about basic needs like accommodation, like clothing, like feeding, like education, like medicals. It can't for the average Nigeria. So with that in place, there is a challenge. You can't easily move from place to place. It's expensive. Medicals, many have gone to Agbo because they can't afford good medical attention. Our hospital systems are broken. Our educational system are broken. So many sad news coming from that direction in the course of this week of things, horrible things, horrific, scary things happening in our schools. Housing, you're paid your salary every month, but your rent is a year or 2 years. So these are some of the challenges that are being faced. Now, the inflation rate is also way above the wages and the salary increases every year. So your salary is increased by 6% or by 9% or by 10%, but the inflation, the cost, general cost of goods and services is at 18%. So every single day, you're getting poorer. You're getting poorer. Now, that being the situation of things in Nigeria, the willpower to implement government policies. Policies are being created every day and being put in place for different sectors, for different careers, for different vocations, policies that ought to make Nigeria run. But the application and implementation of these government policies, both at the federal, state, and local government, is not happening, even at the private and public sector, because the majority of the people are unwilling to apply and engage and implement these policies. These policies ought to bring about a stability and a progression, but it is missing. Why? Because of corruption. We're going into a year, right, where things ought to be better, but things are not better because the will to make things better is not in place. I do not want you to come tonight and take information that you cannot apply because you don't even know what the problem is. We cannot begin to talk about do this, because you need to know the what and the why and the how. And that's why I refuse to use slides. You must know what the problem is. You must know why the problem is there and how to deal with the problem. So these are the challenges. Also, because there's corruption and there's the lack of the will to tackle it, we are perpetually in this situation. And it's getting worse. Now, the collaborative power to challenge what's wrong in our society, essentially because the majority are selfish, inconsiderate, and they indulge in social contest, it is not there. So it is difficult for you to actually get somebody that can partner with you and say, look, this problem we're having in this country, let us face it, let us address it, let us get the government to do the right thing. We are not collaborating to do that. Because when corruption favors us, we call it blessings. When it doesn't favor us, we call it corruption. So on the account of all this, the power to challenge the escalating cost of essential goods and services is not there. So for anyone wishing and hoping and depending on promises by the government or depending on prayer and fasting that things will work out next year in their favor, and it's about I receive it, I claim it, the government said, somebody said, you are perhaps missing the stuff. So how do we move? How do we achieve this? How do you make more money? How do you grow your income? You see, to survive the looming financial challenges in 2022, listen to me. The idea is not to cut costs. I'm going to reduce this, I'm going to reduce that. It won't work. You can't cut costs. Because once things go up, people want to cut costs. The idea of cutting costs is unrealistic. Why? You must eat. You must sleep in a house. You must wear clothes. You must move around. You must pay school bills and sort your medicals for yourself and your family. If all these things are things that you must do, which one of them do you want to remove? Which one of them do you want to remove? Can your current income cover all this conveniently? Even if the prices double, and they're likely to double next year, what you earn right now, can it cover it? So these are the realities of the things we're facing. And submitting this line of thought because it's the reality. And until we're able and willing to embrace the realities of now and next year, the impetus, the motivation, and the decision to consider sales and selling stuff may not be real to us, because we just wish and hope that somehow, God will do it. Somehow, economy will favor us. Somehow, something will work. But these are the realities, and we need to face it. And these are things that we can relate with. So I want to challenge you this evening. The first thing I want you to do is to step out of your familiar mental zone. We're in it, so follow me. Step out of your familiar mental zone. If up until now, your education, your qualifications, your employment, and perhaps your business up until now have sustained you, I don't want you to begin to think and believe that it will continue to sustain you. The times have changed, the periods have changed, the dynamics have changed. So you need fresh, realistic thinking that will help you. So to help you with this right now, I want you to do something. So you've been coming and you're here right now. You're here with me tonight. We're having a conversation. So up until now, thank God for your education. Thank God for your qualification. Thank God for your employment. Thank God for your business. And if you're making a lot of money, I'm happy for you as well. But I want you to do something, because the dynamics are changing drastically. Imagine yourself as someone that is unschooled. Imagine yourself as someone that didn't go to school at all. Today, what would you be doing for a living? That's where sales starts from. I ask the question again, and I want you to think of it with me. Against the backdrop of everything I've shared, if today you don't have a qualification, you are not schooled, you are not educated, what will you be doing for a living? Because most of the time, our employment, our education, our business is an escape from the reality of what is coming. And when the powers or the pillars begin to crumble and fail, we will still be holding on to them, ignoring what is coming, just living in a world of illusion that what we have today can carry us into tomorrow. So the first step in setting your mind for effective sales is this. If I burn my certificate today, if I don't have this job today, if I don't have all these certifications and qualifications today, what will I be doing for a living? I want you to set that mind for yourself tonight. That's the beginning of sales. You see, it is quite important to have this mentality, because the system that supports financial success and sufficiency for the educated is faulty. That's why many today are out of school, there are no jobs. Many have certifications and they have masters and they're doing jobs that is way below their qualifications and their capability, because the system that sustained it is faulty. And if a system that's supposed to sustain your education is faulty, very soon it might get to you. So you can't depend on the system anymore. You use the system. That's what the rich do. So I've analyzed the system. I've painted the picture of tomorrow. I've tried to connect you with where you're going. I've created for you a reality of the fact that maybe where you're coming from cannot take you into the future. You look at this same system, and rather than depend on the system, you will do what? Use the system. Rather than depend on the system, you will do what? You will use the system. That's what the rich do. Just follow me on this. So selling, ladies and gentlemen, selling in 2022, and you begin to prepare for it from now. Selling in 2022 must put into total context the environment where you live and move and exist and earn. Nigeria is Nigeria. Ghana is Ghana. US is US. Kenya is Kenya. Egypt is Egypt. Nigeria is Nigeria. Today, as far as Nigeria is concerned, not textbook, not wishes, not dreams, not hope. Today, the reality of Nigeria, we look at it and we take advantage of how Nigeria is today to make sure you float. When a ship is sinking, safety is in running to parts and perching in locations of the ship that is still above water. I'm not saying Nigeria is sinking. I'm only saying based on how Nigeria is today, your reaction, your thinking should not be based on what is failing. It should be inclined towards what is sustaining. So, how is Nigeria today? So don't begin to think about how you are without thinking about how you are in a Nigerian environment. Don't begin to think of your education and your qualification outside of the reality of the Nigerian environment. Don't begin to brag and boast in your double masters without considering it within the context of today's Nigerian environment. So in 2022, ladies and gentlemen, selling is not that skill or ability to convince or persuade or beg people to buy what you have to sell. Let me say that again. Selling in 2022, it is not an acquisition of skills, because I would assume some may have come here tonight expecting that I will share, this is the skill, this is what you will say, this is how to say it. It won't work. I repeat, it will not work. It is not the skill or ability to convince or persuade or beg people to buy what you have to sell. Why? They don't have money. Let's stop living a life of delusion and illusion. Let's come down from education and principles to everyday reality. How our forefathers were doing it before the white men came and taught us civilization and a sophisticated way of doing business. It doesn't matter how beautiful your product is. It doesn't matter how important your product is. It doesn't matter how well packaged your product is. It doesn't matter how impressive your marketing is. If I don't have money, there is nothing I can do. We are going into a 2022 where a lot of people will not have money to buy some of the things you're selling. That's reality. We have to face it. The principles can say package, marketing, branding, and all that. But after all said and done, and you have applied your energy, your sweat, your strategy into all those things, and at the end of the day, the person you want to sell to does not have the money, sales cannot happen. So you can't go into 2022 with a typical academic tradition of talking, persuasion, convincing. I may be convinced, but my pocket is empty. I may be persuaded, but my pocket is empty. You can come to me now and say you want to sell me the latest Land Cruiser. I don't know the price, 80 million, 70 million. I do not know the price. But right now, I don't have 80 million to buy a Prado, Jeep, or Land Cruiser. I don't have it. So no matter how convincing, no matter how beautiful the car is, no matter how enticed, no matter how much I crave for it, I don't have it. Let's face it. Selling in 2022 will not be done by a lot of noise and dancing on social media. It will not be done by a lot of begging. Please, oh, help your person sell, oh, help your sister make money, oh, help your brother make money, oh, I'm here again today, oh, please, oh, patronize me. They don't have the money. Adverts, pump money in it. Do everything you have to do. If people don't have the money, they do not have the money. In the course of the week, one of my businesses engaged in a fair, a trade fair. And we took some of our tangible products to the trade fair. And it was there, well displayed, good location, everything exciting, interesting. It was there. And the organizers did everything they could do. It was a massive trade fair. in a cosmopolitan part of Lagos, where a lot of people are. It's not in the bush, in town, in Lagos. And at the end of the day, the trade fair didn't do well. Why? Because people didn't show up as much as they should. The people that should come to the fair to buy didn't come. So you're at the fair, you're willing to sell at certain discounts. You're willing to engage potential buyers. You're willing to ensure that people buy. But the people you are there for are not present there. How do you sell when the buyers don't show up at trade fairs? Reality. And I'm saying that in 2022, a lot of potential buyers may not show up. Why? Why go to the market when my pocket is empty? I'm dwelling on this because I want you to get it. I want you to get it. I want it to help reset your mind. The typical idea of persuasion: I can speak, I'm eloquent, I'm persuasive, I will use my mouth, I will use my looks, I will use everything to convince. Convince, but at the end of the day, where is the power behind sales? Where's the money? It's not there. So don't go into next year emphasizing, dwelling, and trying to hone your skills in persuasive conversations
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, everybody's back in now. Apologies for that. We had a very funny thing that happened here. Power went out and it immediately changed the host. And we had to wait to make the host again. Can you imagine? Those kind of things happen. I hope everyone is in now. I can hear me. You all can hear me. Everyone can hear me. Okay, so let's continue. So I was talking about the fact that in 2022, your concept, your idea, and your maybe the long-held traditional way of seeing sales must change. 2022 is not that particular year where it's about being able to persuade, being able to beg, being able to appeal for people to buy. There is no money. So they may like your products, they may desire it, they may crave for it, but they do not have the money. Many people in 2022, based on how things are looking right now, will be spending on survival and very important needs. Survival and very important needs. They'll be spending on survival and very important needs. So we come to the crux of the matter. So how do you sell in 2022? How do you sell in 2022? So I share the point with you very quickly. These are the things you need to consider for real. No emotions, no sentiments. It's a way forward. It's progressive. What do you have to do? Number one, ask yourself, how do I sell in 2022? What are the items people will buy in 2022? I've talked about contextualizing whatever you do within how Nigeria is today. It's not about what you like. It's not about what you're passionate about. It's not about what you've been doing for a long time. It's not about what you're familiar with. It's about what will make you financially stable and healthy in 2022. What are the items people will buy in 2022? You need to sit down and think about it. What are those things people will buy in 2022? Every sale starts with a ready buyer, not a nice product. You need to pay attention to this. Every sale starts with a ready buyer, not a nice product. Not a nice product. If there is no ready buyer in the marketplace, there's a possibility that no matter what it is they want to sell, you will struggle if you don't have ready buyers. So the way to ensure that you do well in the marketplace as someone that wants to sell is to ensure that you have verified that what I want to sell, there is a ready buyer. Let me explain ready buyer. Everybody eats, yes. Everybody drinks water, yes. Everybody wears clothes, yes. But guess what? They already have places where they buy from, people that they buy from, and the character or natural habits of their buying. It's called their buying behavior. So when you're talking about a ready market, when you're talking about ready buyers, these are people that you see as potential converts, people that you know that with the nature of what you're bringing to the marketplace and the quality and the cost of what you're bringing to the marketplace, the tendency for them to leave their current suppliers, leave their current buying places and come to you is high. So you begin to think about it. What are the items that people will buy in 2022? Every sale starts with a ready buyer, not a nice product. That's number one. What will people buy in 2022? Number two, who are these people? Note this. Who are they? You need to be able to consider the people that you want to sell to. Who are they? You look at their psychographics. Where do they stay? How do they live their lives? Are they women? Are they men? Are they youth? Are they old? Are they young? Are they educated? Are they semi-literate? You must define the people you want to sell to. Now, this is, of course, part of what you need to be able to do sales well. Know your target audience. Who are the people you want to sell to? So after identifying what they are most likely to buy, which I have said earlier, that is going to be what survival products and important needs. Survival products and important needs. Number two, you must know that you have what it takes to be able to move them from what they're doing and where they're doing it right now. Sales matters to you. Who are these people? Number three, where are these people? Where are they? So you can know them and perhaps not even know where they're located. Depending on the nature and the type of what you're selling, you must be able to define where they are located. Yeah, they're all over. They're all over. It's not the name of a place. You must be able to determine and say, this is where these people are. This is where I'm going to find them. This is where I'm going to engage them. Number 4, how many of them can you access? So let me tell you where money comes from. Money does not come from your ability to create a good product or an affordable product. Money comes from the number of ready buyers in the market. Number of ready buyers in the market. So if you have good product, but the number of your buyers are 100, it can never deliver enough funds as someone with a number of ready buyers that is over 1,000. And it can never deliver returns like someone with a ready buyer that are over 10,000. So for you to even venture, you must also consider accessibility. How many of these potential buyers can you access with your products or your service? How many of them can you access? Through which means can you access them? So let me start again. Number 1, what are the items people will buy in 2022? I've said it. Mostly, they're going to be buying needs and survival products. Number 2, who are these people? You must define them. You must sit down. These are things you sit down to do, not just top of head. No, sit down and do it. Who are these people? Then C, that's number 3. Where are they located? Where are they? Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, wherever they are. Where are they? Then number 4, how many of them can you access that you know you can reach with your products and all that? Number 5, the quality of your product and affordability is extremely key next year, because you see, important needs and essential product is a kind of sale that many will gravitate towards. So everybody will want to sell what people are most likely going to buy. So when they come in there, your winning edge is in the quality of what you sell and its affordability. So you join the pack with superior quality and superior price. Superior price is what people will be willing to pay for whatever it is you're selling. Superior quality is having a quality that is acceptable to the people. So your product quality must be on point and your price must be on point. Number 6, the cost of your product is extremely critical, because when your cost is high, your price will be high and you're out of the game. So in your seeking and sourcing for whatever it is that you want to sell, especially if it's a tangible product, make sure that the cost at which you buy, where you buy it from, and the volume you buy is so that the cost is relatively low, so that you can have your margins and still give them a good price in the market. It is very critical. Your product quality, your affordability is going to be hinged on the cost of your production, the cost of your supply. Make sure that is critical as well. Make sure it is critical. Then number 8, superior visibility. Superior visibility. Now, let me explain this to you. You don't advertise for people to know you. No, you advertise for them not to forget you. So advertising is not about people knowing you. Advertising is being in people's face consistently and constantly to the end that they cannot forget you. So these are 8 critical principles with which you are going to enter into 2022 and lead and win. Now, let me just announce this going forward. We are going to be having a part 2 of this next week, where each of these 8 that I have listed, I'm going to break it down and contextualize it within the trade and commercial environment of Nigeria in 2022. I'm listing this 8 so that you can get the points and begin to think about your own practice, your own area, and what you're considering. But the plug-in, I'm going to break it down next week. What are the items people are buying now? What are the items they're going to be buying in 2022? Ready buyers and how to connect with them. I'll share with you. Who are these people? How to find these people? Where are these people? How many you can access? Product quality and affordability, cost of production, operations and supply, and superior visibility are 8 pillars upon which you will be able to penetrate. So I'm going to share this next week, but I don't want to share the breakdown without you thinking about it first. So you go on ahead and think about what you want to do, what you want to plug into, what you want to connect with, where you want to drive it, the things you want to do. Think about it and prepare perhaps your plan alongside this. So as I'm breaking it down next week, you are connecting it, you're connecting the dots and making it a realistic action plan. So these 8 factors are critical. What I'm going to be sharing lastly tonight is your repositioning. Your repositioning. Number 1, you must be willing mentally, psychologically, and physically to start something new, perhaps different from what you're doing right now. Because what you're doing right now may be challenged next year and may fail. You must prepare your mind, your emotions, and your heart to start something new. Number 2, you must set money as a goal. Set money as a goal, not prestige. Tell yourself, next year, I must double my income. Do that in the course of this week before we meet next week. Set money as a goal. Listen, Dangote is not selling apps. Dangote is not in the techie world. He's selling what Nigerians, everyday Nigerians need, like sugar, like salt, spaghetti, flour for bread. That's why he's the richest black man in the world. He's selling what the people need, not what is prestigious in quote. Go for the money. Let go of prestige. 3, be willing to collaborate. Next week, as I share with you, you may see that there are opportunities for you to do what you have to do through collaboration. Now, you can't get big all by yourself. You can't achieve everything all by yourself. You need partners. You can't go into next year suspecting, distrusting, speculating, and just looking at everything and everybody with that suspicion. You must be ready and willing to take calculated risks to partner with people. Mindset repositioning. Number 4, follow, partner, and work with people who know what to do. Follow, partner, and work with people who know what to do. Consider people with experience, with exposure, with capacity, with ability and integrity. Reach out to them, connect with them, partner with them, and see what you can build together with them. Take counsel, take advice, take direction. Be with people that know the way in 2022. And number 5, you can actually consider buying into existing small businesses with potential. You may have your company, you may have your business, or you may be working somewhere. But I promise you, there are a lot of people that are running small businesses, and with your investment, you can expand and bring something for you. For example, there is no how, no matter how difficult 2022 is, people will still barb their hair. Men will still go to the salon and barb their hair. There are a lot of young men today that already have a running barbing salon. If you partner with them and you make funds available and you repackage the place and you expand the place, these guys are good people to partner with. Barbing is part of the business that will do well next year. No matter what, everybody will not carry afro. These are some of the things that I will open our eyes to by next week, right? So basically, you can buy into existing business. In closing, systems, as usual, is not working in Nigeria because of the state at which we are as a nation. Salaries can fail, employment can end. A sudden high cost of material input can end your business. Foreign exchange can mess up your plans, and inflation is making everyone poorer, even including Dangote. So wake up and let's face our realities. You need to open up new channels, seek people to work with, find financial partners, find experts to work with, set more money as a goal. If you don't, 2022 may mess you up. This I want you to write down as I close. And I want you to work on it in the course of this week so that by next week we can build a framework that you can run with. This is going to have a part 2 next week where you can actually engage in this ideology of sales that will work next year. Number 1, write it down. What are the items people will buy in 2022 that you want to sell? Write it down. The items people are likely to buy in 2022 that you are willing to sell. Write it down. Who are the people you want to sell to? Write it down and describe them. Men, women, old, young. Who are they? Write it down. Where are they? Where are these people? Write it down. How many of them can you access? 100, 1,000, 10,000? Write it down. Your product quality and affordability based on what you want to sell. What range of pricing are you looking at? We'll analyze that together next week. Cost of production, or let me say source of purchase, where you're getting it from, or cost of production, or where you're buying from. Where exactly is it, and how much do you think it can supply to you? These are your personal information, but write it down as well. Then the last one is your visibility. How do you want people to see what you're selling? No matter how good and how affordable it is, if they don't see it, they can't buy it. You can't wink in the dark and expect people to buy or know what you're doing. That is the last one. So answer these questions, get a book, answer these questions, sit down, think about it, and write it down. Next week, I'll take on these 8 points, one after the other, and I will help you be able to connect what you have written down to a realistic, actionable movement, such that by next week, what you're just going to be doing is looking at the plan, filling it up by whatever it is I'm going to be sharing with you so that you can immediately activate. Let me start again. Let me again apologize for the disruption in the transmission. It was a sudden loss of power. And you know, this technology, it just changed the host and all that. And we had to wait for it to recalculate and remake us the host again before we come on board. I've never seen this happen before, but we thank God for everything. So please, I plead with you, if you're here this week, be here next week. What you've heard is what is likely to happen and the 8 critical elements that you must consider for your sales to happen, such that you won't start chasing people. You will just position yourself and they will come to you and buy from you. That's how real sales work. Not by begging, persuading, cajoling, sweet mouth. No, effective positioning for offtake. That is the way it works. So by next week, we'll plug it together, frame it together, drive it together, and you'll be happy and impressed, and you know you have something to work with going into 2022. Our time is fast spent tonight. So I want to say to us that after you've done this assignment, we can take all questions and engagements next week. So tonight is not a night of questions. So I want to say to everyone joining us for the first time that you're welcome on this platform. It's a regular meeting that we'll hold every Saturday night at 9 p.m., right? Every Saturday at 9 p.m. on Zoom. So we build ourselves, we encourage ourselves, and we share a realistic approach to overcoming challenges, issues, and problems, both in business, in career, in relationships, and basically doing well in life. So you're welcome. I want you to be a part of this regularly. And for those that have been here consistently, I thank you for your consistency. And I'm hoping that there is that transformation happening for you and with you. I'm looking forward to an exciting and highly rewarding 2022 with you. And I'm believing that you'll come along with me as we journey this path in this country together. So on behalf of every one of us on this side of the transmission, I want to say thank you for being a part of this. Have a wonderful Sunday tomorrow and a very productive week. Welcome to the month of December. God bless you. Have a good night rest. Bye-bye.